Hello everyone, this is Sahid and I'm very excited to be back here. And this is where we talk everything migration, infotainment, LD lifestyle, and so on. If you haven't subscribed to our channel, please do so immediately. Like and share our videos, hit the subscribe button, and don't forget to turn on the all important notifications so you don't miss out on any of our future videos. So what are we talking about today? Let's get started.
In today's video, we will be telling about the latest and new immigration pathways to Canada 2025. Canada is a country in North America. Its 10 provinces and 3 territories extend from the Atlantic Ocean to the Pacific Ocean and northward into the Arctic Ocean, making it the world's second largest country by total area, with the world's longest coastline. Its border with the United States is the world's longest international land border. Canada is set to introduce several new pathways to permanent residence in 2025. These new pathways present opportunities for eligible foreign nationals seeking permanent residence. The first pathway is the Enhanced Caregiver Pilot Programs for home care workers such as home child care providers and home support workers. The second pathway is the Rural Community Immigration Pilot for those who fulfill labor shortages and select small rural communities in Canada. Number 3, Francophone Community Immigration Pilot, which is for French speakers who fulfill labor shortages and select small communities outside Quebec. Lastly is the Manitoba's West Central Immigration Initiative Pilot, for workers who want to live in communities in Manitoba's rural West Central region. What is the Enhanced Caregiver Pilot Program all about? Acknowledging the need for more caregivers in the country, IRCC announced 2 enhanced caregiver pilots in June 2024. These new pilot programs are set to replace successful pilots that ended in June 2024, which were the Home Child Care Provider Pilot and the Home Support Worker Pilot. Unlike the previous programs, they give home care workers permanent residency PR on arrival in Canada. Home care workers will also be allowed to work for organizations that provide temporary or part-time care for people who are semi-independent or recovering from an injury or illness. What are the details and eligibility? Candidates need to have a minimum language proficiency of level 4 on the Canadian Language Benchmarks tests, the equivalent of a Canadian high school diploma, recent and relevant work experience, and an offer for a full-time home care job. More information on the full launch of the pilots and the eligibility criteria is expected to be released in the coming months. What about the Rural Community Immigration Pilot? Following the success of the Rural and Northern Immigration Pilot RNIP, IRCC announced the launch of a new Rural Community Immigration Pilot. The Rural Community Immigration Pilot will provide pathways to PR for newcomers who can help overcome labor shortages and want to live long-term in small rural communities in Canada. What are the details and eligibility? In December 2024, the Canadian Gazette published further details regarding eligibility for the Rural Community Immigration class. Candidates must have the following. Number 1, work experience. This should meet specific conditions. This requirement can also be waived for international graduates who meet certain conditions. Number 2, education. The applicant must have obtained at least a secondary school-level credential. Number 3, genuine offer of employment. The offer must be from a designated employer that meets specific conditions. Number 4, language proficiency. The Canadian language benchmark required depends on the NOC tier of the job offer. Number 5, necessary funds. The amount must be at least half of the low-income threshold for rural areas outside major cities, as published annually by Statistics Canada for 1 year. Number 6, intent to reside. The applicant must demonstrate that they intend to reside in the designated community they will work in. They must also have a valid certificate of recommendation from an economic development organization at the time of application. This pilot had been scheduled to launch in the fall of 2024 but is now expected to launch in 2025. What about the Francophone Community Immigration Pilot? This pilot is part of Canada's policy on Francophone immigration, which aims to promote the growth of Francophone minority communities. The Francophone Community Immigration Pilot will focus on increasing the number of French-speaking newcomers settling in Francophone minority communities outside of Quebec. It aims to ensure the economic development of Francophone minority communities while also helping to restore and increase their demographic weight. This pilot was announced at the same time as the Rural Community Immigration Pilot. As with the Rural Community Immigration Pilot, IRCC will work with select communities participating in the pilots to attract and retain foreign skilled workers in rural and francophone minority communities. What are the details and eligibility? In December 2024, the Canadian Gazette published further details regarding eligibility for the Francophone Community Immigration class. Candidates must have the following. Number 1. Work experience. An applicant must have work experience that meets specific conditions. This requirement can also be waived for international graduates who meet certain conditions. Number 2. Education. The applicant must have obtained at least a secondary school-level credential. Number 3. Genuine offer of employment. The offer must be from a designated employer that meets specific conditions. Number 4. Language proficiency. French language ability equivalent to a niveau D competence. Linguistique Canadiens NCLC Level 5 in all language abilities. Number 5. Necessary funds. Funds equivalent to 1/2 of the most recent low-income cutoff LICO criteria relevant to their designated community for 1 year. Number 6. Intent to reside. The applicant must demonstrate that they intend to reside in the designated community they will work in. They must also have a valid certificate of recommendation from an economic development organization at the time of application. This pilot had been scheduled to launch in the fall of 2024 but is now expected to launch in 2025. And regarding the Manitoba's West Central Immigration Initiative pilot in November 2024, Manitoba announced a 3-year pilot to address labor market shortages in its rural West Central region. This will see the province collaborate with 7 rural municipalities and Gambler First Nation to meet respective labor market needs. According to the Manitoba Minister of Labor and Immigration, the pilot is a response to local needs for skilled workers. It builds on the province's current regional immigration initiatives in Winkler Stanley, Morden, and the Parkland region. What are the details and eligibility? According to the press release, approximately 240 to 300 people will be needed by the province over the next 3 years to meet labor market needs. No launch date or eligibility criteria have been shared so far. And that brings us to the end of today's video regarding the latest and new immigration pathways to Canada 2025. If you found this information valuable and you're eager for more most updated information and immigration tips to successfully migrate, then kindly like and share our videos and subscribe to this channel. Then don't forget to hit the notification button to have all our future videos. If you need help, however, with specifics or individualized services in particular, please feel free to contact us by electronic mail and let's create this success story together.